All right, everybody, welcome to Sports Bias with Cleveland J. I am, of course, Cleveland J. Welcome to episode 2 featuring the Detroit Tigers. First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody who gave me all the comments and feedback from our first show last week. I really appreciate it. It was an exciting night for us, and I think the show went really well. Got some changes in the works, but for the most part, it went well, and the feedback was great. And so I thank you, honestly, for all the feedback. Again, I created this more as a therapy for me. It's an idea I've had for many years, and with my health, I just need to kind of be moving forward on some things. So I was working on this on the side, and it kind of just blossomed into this live show. So it's helped me stay focused and get healthy and all that. And I'm really excited about today's show. Before that, I have some upcoming shows I don't want to forget to mention. Next week's show will be my hometown Cleveland Indians, and that will be fun, but it'll mainly be fun because I'm hosting the show with my nephew, Colin, which will be a lot of fun. So that'll be cool. And then we have a show that I've been working on for a while that is going to be so much fun. It's the greatest sports movies of all time. That's coming up, I think, on February 6th. We also have a show with the Cubs in the works, one with the Reds. I think that one's on February 27th with my friend Scott Utz and Kevin Trigg joining me on that one. We also are putting the final touches on 2 other episodes, the greatest sports logos of all time and the greatest team nicknames of all time. And I have to share this one with you because I was doing research for that show. And we all know the Banana Slugs and the Horned Frogs and all that. We have the Traverse City Pit Spitters here in northern Michigan, which is an awesome name. I ran across the Arkansas School of the Deaf. The Arkansas School of the Deaf. They are the leopards. They're the deaf leopards. I thought that was awesome. So there'll be more of those during those shows. I'll release the dates this coming week, and we'll go from there. So before we dive in, I'm going to do this and switch over to here and introduce you to my co-host, Brad Balentine and Shawn Kellogg.
Hello, Jay.
Some crowd noise for you. All right. So we all go back quite a way. We go back to the high school days, and we have a lot of memories of each other. But first, I just want each one of them to kind of say hello and tell us a little something about yourself, where you're from. Maybe do this. Tell us where you're from, how you became a Tigers fan or why you became a Tigers fan, your earliest Tiger memory. All right? So, Brad, you go first. Welcome to Sports Bias.
Thank you. Thanks, Jay. I'm a Traverse City native. Been a Tiger fan all my life. My earliest Tiger memory have to be listening to the radio, listening to Ernie as I go to bed. Even as a little kid, I think probably was put to bed to Ernie Harwell. So
it's funny you mentioned that because during the show prep, I've talked to these guys many times, and we've done a couple calls in a tech check call, and nobody's brought up Ernie, and I thought that was surprising. So I'm glad he came out of the woodworks in the opening segment. So that's cool, awesome. So do you remember your first time at Tiger Stadium?
I do. Actually, it was with a church function that my dad and I went to. It was a Lions preseason game, and then we went to the Tigers game, and then went to the Lions preseason game the same day. And
Cool.
we took a tour bus down to it. At the age, I can't remember. I'm going to say probably 12, 10, 11, something like that.
Cool.
And we were whipped. Sat out in the bleachers out there, center field.
Yeah, I liked going
straight
there.
away.
That was a fun stadium. I liked it.
So,
all right, so welcome, Shawn. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. Tell us a little bit about Shawn.
Oh, gosh. Father of 2, happily married. And we used to call ourselves the baseball family. That was the joke in elementary school when we'd pull the kids out of the school to go to playoff games. I live up in Elk Rapids, Michigan now. Was a military kid, though, so I was not an original Tiger fan. Moved here in the 70s and still was passionate about the San Diego Padres, who were garbage, but had some great young players that would go through there and go on to other teams like the Yankees or the Cardinals, Oakland A's, you name it.
Yep.
But had some great players that I fell in love with listening on an AM radio from Avon, if you remember Avon.
Yeah.
my sister would get stuff from Avon, and my pick was a transistor radio. So I had two radio stations, an AM funk radio station that got my music passion in that, and then that would transition to baseball.
Yeah.
And I had the visions of the San Diego Chicken, and then finally actually
Is he still
saw
around?
the San Diego Chicken. Well, back then it was the KGB Chicken. This was before the San Diego Chicken.
Yeah.
Now it's a touring act, and you would see it that way. But my first memory of Tiger Stadium, I actually was very fortunate to go to Tiger Stadium with. I'll say their names in case they happen to watch the show. Jeff and Rob Rush. Their father worked for the Record Eagle, and arranged for us 4 neighborhood kids that would always play wiffle ball to go to Tiger Stadium. So I was very spoiled. My first game at Tiger Stadium, walk into the stadium, walk straight to the dugout, and meet Sparky Anderson. And man,
Graduated with Jeff.
with leather hands, shakes my hand, and I was just in awe of the strength that this man, Sparky Anderson, had. And sat right behind the dugout. I couldn't even tell you who played that game or won. I just remember
How old
I
were
was
you think?
shaking. I would have been a 6th grader.
All right.
So whatever age that is, 11, 12 years old. And
Yeah, I have
that
memories
beautiful-
of you'd mentioned the radio, the transistor radio, and I before I moved to the Chicago area, I lived in Cleveland. I loved listening to the radio. I just sit at night and just keep on turning the dial to try to pick up games. I'd pick up games from Detroit. I'd pick up games from Chicago. I'd pick up games from Milwaukee, Cincinnati. It was crazy. And I still don't quite understand how that signal went that far. But on the right night, you'd get all those things. I used to love listening to different broadcasters. And to this day, I'd rather listen on the radio than watch the game. I love listening to it.
Yes.
In fact, the MLB package, I have the TV package too, but I always have the app on my phone listening to other people's announcers and so forth. That's why I'm glad you brought up Ernie Harwell. Now, all fairness, Ernie Harwell is not my favorite. Sorry, I'm going to get some hate for that, but he was not my favorite. I didn't think he was the most exciting broadcaster, but I certainly respect what he did and what he meant for the Tigers and the community. And I know he was very well beloved, but yeah, he was great. So, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, I know you're going to go for it.
All right, so our first segment is going to be the all-time Tiger lineup. All right, I'm going to switch over here. Let's switch to that segment right now. Oh, I guess I'm not. We're going to go to this screen. I forgot about this screen. I was going to use it. I'm not. It's my show. I'll do what I want.
There you go.
All right, so I would like to hear about the process of this for you guys. So knowing that you're going to be doing the show with me, and let me get back. Let me clarify this. Shawn mentioned that he wasn't, grew up a diehard Tigers fan, at least initially, and I don't think Brad is a gung ho Tiger fan. He loves baseball. He loves the Tigers, but he's not your passionate, rabid fan. So I think all 3 of my guests tonight aren't the passionate, soak your teeth passion for the Tigers, but they love baseball. They know sports. Most importantly for me, when I decided to do the show, these are the first 3 people I decided I wanted to bring on the show because they're dear friends of mine and I love them. And they're who I had in mind when I was developing the show. So I didn't really care. In fact, you'll probably see them on other episodes when we do some general sports stuff. I'm trying to convince them to do the sports movie one with me and do some other appearances. So, but I do want to know what the process was like for you and what approach did you take on coming up with your all-time lineup and kind of what happened or what was unfolded or what was unfolded for you during that time. Brad?
Oh, well, I tell you what, being retired now, I had so much time to go on the computer and look. And like you said, Tigers are my favorite team, but I can't rattle off stats and players and stuff like that. So the last literally 2 weeks, I've been at the computer looking up players, going on MLB, looking at all the stats by position. I even went through to the point of looking of, okay, what were their career stats, but what were their stats while they were just at the Tigers to this. So, and then when I did my lineup, I made it as all those players, some of them played different positions. Some may have played, I may have put somebody in a position that wasn't their majority, but
that's
so we'll see so, being a coach, hey, if I've got players, I might have to jockey them around, but all of them played in their position at some point. And I definitely got my wife to open up her eyes, and she was like, "You're working on that again?" I'm like, "Dude, I put hours into this, so we'll see how it turns out. I can't say it's going to be great, but
Well,
we'll
I'm
see."
interested in seeing that now, Brad. Now I'm
So
curious of where that comes into play. We'll see. Shawn,
I
what
might
about
be on
you?
left field.
Well, for me, I'm a baseball geek. Similar to Brad, though, I wrote it out as if I was going to write the lineup. Who do I want in that lineup? But they still had to play that position. I wasn't. I'll name a name. I wasn't going to put Alan Trammell in the outfielder because
Right.
anything like that.
No.
But but then I did dive into some of the older Tiger history, some of the names that I've heard growing up, again, being the baseball geek, you hear the Ty Cobbs and the man's great. Well, what did he really do?
And
Some
then you
other names
looked, you
will
researched
come
Ty
up.
Cobb and realized he was the
Yeah,
man. Right.
Hey, don't
exactly.
pick on the Georgia peach.
Oh no. But some of the interesting things that would come out about these players that I'm sure we will bring up. And then going back to some of the older players that you'll hear the names, and I'm sure we'll have many of the same,
Yeah.
but maybe not. But still, a couple of the guys that you'll see in there may not have been the best player of that position, but I want him in my lineup to win a game.
That kind of brings me to this comment. Two things. One, for me, researching these shows, and I didn't grow up a Tigers fan. I appreciate Tiger baseball and the tradition. I think it's a great baseball town. Nothing against the Tigers, but I was looking forward to doing shows like this more than I am the Indians and Cubs and other teams. Like I started with Ohio State last week. That was much harder for me. I can be a little bit more objective here, and I think the show will flow a little bit better. But I left it up to the co-hosts on all shows with the starting lineups to kind of define that how you see fit. And you both mentioned it. You were researching players, and you're thinking about players that are more current versus older players. This is not necessarily going to be the definitive list of the all-time great Tigers. If you put players that you just love, that you watched and you love playing, that's great. If you actually put the person you thought was the best, that's fine too. I left that up to you. The only exception for that for me was the Mount Rushmore and the 4 greatest Tigers. We wanted to kind of keep that true. Now my lineup, I'm going to go with who I thought was the best. So I might differ on a little bit, but I will say this with the Tigers, I thought this one was relatively chalk. I thought it was pretty easy. There wasn't a lot of argument for me or decision making for me. I thought I went through it pretty quickly, and I found that surprising. So I'm looking forward to going through other teams and see if that's the same experience for me. But let's go. Let's get it kicked off.
Perfect.
We'll just go in order. We'll go in order, and we're going to do one at a time. We're going to go first base first. I will start us off. Let me do it this way. Let me get my screen up here. Yeah, first base. We'll start with first base. So how this is going to work, I have mine typed out. I'm just going to pop them on the screen. Shawn and Brad are going to give me theirs. I'll type it up and slide it into spots. So you're going to see it kind of move across the screen, but it all should be fairly smooth as long as I can type and there's not like a name that I can't spell. But, oh well. First base was relatively easy for me, like I said. And this one was the only one that really could have gave me problems, but there's a DH. So I didn't have that issue. So if you know this one, who I put here, you're going to know who my DH is. But I have Hank Greenberg as the best first baseman in Tiger history. So that's it. That's all I got. No argument there. All right, Brad, what about you?
Oh, see, I went a different route. So you're.
Oh my gosh!
Here we go.
It better be a player you love.
Miguel.
All right, well, that's what I was saying.
Yep.
Let me do caps. I'll do it all caps. Oh, hey, wait a minute. Yeah, I got to do this differently here. All right, hold on. Yeah,
but I will tell you this: I did have to cross him out. I mean, I had Greenberg in there, but I did cross him out.
Let me just get these in here so I don't have to keep on doing this the same way each time. Yeah, that's why I was saying I like that there's a DH.
Yes.
Let me just change the font size in this. Let me go from there. All right. There we go. Now we're set. All right. Yeah, you gotta like having the DH in there when you're doing a show like this. Yeah. All right, Shawn, what do you think? First base.
Yeah, I went with Hank as well.
Yeah.
just the numbers just jumped off the page when I really got looking at him. I mean, I knew he was a Hall of Famer, but man, when I dove into those numbers, the guy averaged almost 40 home runs a year in those big, massive ballparks those guys used to play in.
Yep.
Hey, put that into perspective with today's technology, and you just can't. The ballparks then versus now, it's night and day difference.
Yep. Second base is where we're probably all going to differ, unless you went true baseball and you didn't think with your heart and your passion. Because I'm going to let you go first, Brad.
I'm not passionate.
Oh, you're okay. I thought
I'll let
maybe
you
you'd
go
give
first.
Shawn. Oh, well, come on. It has to be Lou Whitaker. Has to be.
Nope.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it
Nor
does.
should it be. But,
That's art. Yep.
went with your heart. I got it.
No.
This is not working out for me the way I wanted to on this little dragging thing. All right, so
I
Lou
kind of like.
Whitaker,
I like
Sweet
it.
Lou. Sweet Lou.
Well, I know. I can guess where you're going with it.
Well, yeah. Good. All right, Shawn.
You can type the other G word.
Yeah. Give me Charlie.
Charlie Gehringer. There we go. You gotta get it right. There we go. Yep. Charlie Gehringer is the best second baseman in Tiger history. Lou was great. It was fun watching. We all grew up watching him and Tram, all the best double play combination in baseball. Good guy from everything I've read about him. But yeah, one of the segments later, we're going to talk about the most underrated or overrated Tigers. And I will put Lou Whitaker in that because there were so many great second basemen during the time he played. And he got overshadowed a lot. And he's a borderline Hall of Famer, but I don't think he's nearly appreciated as he should be. So I'm not hating on Lou. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. But
both Charlie and Lou both played 19 years for the Tigers.
Yep.
So I mean that's it's like flipping a coin. I mean, they both had.
You're not going to lose many games with either of those guys there.
Yeah.
The
Whitaker had a better fielding percentage.
He did.
Yeah, groomed infields as well.
I'm not going to argue that much with you.
And again, I mean that's
and I got to see Whitaker for most of those. So
if you put Ian Kinsler in there, then I'd give you some flack. But,
yeah.
But Whitaker, I'm
thinking the shortstop. When we get to the shortstop position, I'm thinking he might have weighed in on that duo as well.
I really thought Shawn was going to go with Omar Infante. Come on.
Well, okay, I'm going to tell you right now. Well, yeah. Well, there is I'm going to save that comment because you know where I'm going with it, Shawn.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to third base. Third base. Let me just see what you guys do here. Shawn, let's go with you first.
Well, see, this is where I went a little out of the box because the man did play third base. And again, I'm making a lineup. I put Miggy at third.
Yeah, I was wondering if one of you guys were going to do that.
Miggy was a third baseman. Yep. It's hard to remember that today.
He wasn't a horrible fielding third baseman either.
No, he wasn't.
Nope. And a very, obviously we think of him in today's day, very underrated base runner as well. Very intelligent base runner.
Yep. Yeah, he's an intelligent,
a fast big man.
I remember watching him on the Marlins, coming up, and then he's going to be in the conversation for the all-time greatest Tiger. Yeah. He should be. You guys, he should have entertained that. We'll get there. It's the end of the show, but even with Ty Cobb in here, Mickey has to have some votes in there. So we'll get there. But where did I go? I'm going to save mine. Brad, who do you got for third baseman?
George Kell.
Yeah,
and that's a great pick.
Yep, of course it is. That's who I picked. George Kell. I think it. Because you're fitting Miggy in there, Shawn, I don't like the font size of this at all. I got to make this bigger because I can't grab it, and it's driving me nuts. Let's make this.
The one that was Tom Brookins that played 10 years that really, but you got to go.
You got Travis Fryman, too, had a good career.
Yep, he did. Yep.
So George Kell, George Kell for me was, easily the pick there. If I go back down here. All right. We're gonna let Brad go first on this one. Do we need even say anything?
I don't even think we even need. If you put anybody else there, done.
Yeah.
If you didn't pick Trammell on this, you shouldn't be on here.
Yeah. Right now. It did come up for Shawn and I in the one of our pre-show calls is both of us were very tempted. I have nothing against Alan Trammell. He was great. Not flashy, but great. And Hall of Famer. Get that. But there's a new sheriff in town.
Hey, I'll let you do it.
He's got to play a game first.
There's a new sheriff in town.
Yes.
And my boy Javi Baez is now my favorite Tiger shortstop of all time. Barring he plays, as long as the opening day happens and he gets a game in as a Tiger, he's the all-time favorite Tiger shortstop right there.
I was saying you can't put him on the Tiger thing when he hasn't played a single game.
Well, Brad, again, it's my show. I can do whatever I want.
See, now it would have been funnier had you put Baez on there. I think.
Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, this font definitely is not working out the way I wanted to. I mean, I had all pre-formatted.
Trammell in the middle.
Trammell in the middle, and
Trammell's a little big.
In the middle.
Yeah, I'll just do that. Let's just do that.
Yeah, just leave Trammell in the middle.
All right.
Then we all agreed on it.
Yes, Trammell. There we go. All right, now we're gonna go to left field.
All right. This is the one. Here's where I put Hank Greenberg.
I shouldn't allow that, Brad. I shouldn't allow it.
No.
How many games did he play at left field?
239.
How long a career?
If you can put Baez in there in one game.
But I didn't.
He hasn't played one yet. He hasn't played one yet. But yes,
yeah,
no.
Again, show.
This was the coach's thing where I wanted to get him in the lineup.
This isn't an all-star game,
and get
Brad.
Cabrera.
Yeah.
All right, Shawn, what do you got?
You give Brad a little leash and
hey.
Well, this was my hardest position, left field. And I'll just say the two names that were there. Mm-hmm. It was Gibby, Kirk Gibson, and Willie Horton. And this was the one that gave me the biggest fits. And I went with Gibby just not because he had better stats.
Where's that button? Hit your button.
Not because he had a better career.
Where's that my thing?
But with this lineup, we've got Ty Cobb in this lineup. We all know that. There's going to be fights.
Well,
we need Gibby.
Well, it's not going to be fights. He played center field mainly. So
Ty Cobb?
Yeah. I mean, if you guys all don't have Ty Cobb as center fielders, I'm stopping the show now. If you put Chet Lemon or Granderson in there, I quit.
Yep. And again, I fully think Willie Horton's a better player.
That's who I had. I had Willie Horton.
But I'm going to win a game. And the way I was writing this lineup, it's a game 7. I want Gibby in there for game 7. Exactly.
How many games did he play at left field? Do you know when you were looking that up?
Hold on.
I know he played all 3 positions out there. I thought mainly he was playing right field, but
who were you asking about?
That position is going to be pretty occupied in this lineup.
What? Say it again.
Right field's occupied.
Yeah.
And if it's not for all of us,
yes,
on the Tiger Show.
Yes.
Center and right should.
I don't know. I don't know what Brad's doing here. I mean,
well, that's true. I mean, hell, he might have Miggy in right.
Right and center. We're going to go through it quickly. So there's.
I already put Miggy in at first base. Come on, are you not looking?
Center field.
Cobb.
Yeah. Nobody has anything other than Cobb, right?
Absolutely.
And right field's going to be the same.
It's going to be Al Kaline.
Kaline.
Yes.
Right.
If you don't, we're not.
See, we just saved ourselves some time there. Yeah, that's easy. This was one of my harder picks, I think, of if there was. But let's see what you have as catcher, Brett. I'm interested to see what you have as catcher.
Oh, Bill Freehand.
That's a good pick, Brad. It's a good pick. And that's who I have as well.
Same.
Same? All right. Well, then let's do this.
Yeah, the heart at first was Lance Parrish, and then when I started
learning, Parrish had a very similar career to Freehand. I mean, they both played a long time and were pillars behind there. I mean, they were in control of those teams. They were the guy behind the guys, and they both had long careers that were really great. Parrish was a lot closer to this than I thought when I initially did my list, but I still went with Freehand. All right. Let's go to
trivia though. I'm going to jump into a trivia question for
Okay.
you, Mr.
All right.
Host.
Let's.
Why was it called the K-line corner?
It's a Homer question, Shawn, and I don't appreciate it.
I
Embarrassing
wasn't
the host
Homer.
on the show.
This came up in research.
Let me stop and have a sip of my Shorts Mule beer.
That helped with my questioning.
There you go.
As well.
I found this beer because of Shawn. His 50th birthday. Sorry to age you.
Yeah, that's fine.
I do not know, Shawn.
So
The cat's out of the bag now. I don't know everything. See,
it is.
Just ruined it.
Al,
I have family members, little kids watching that think I'm.
he had this great up and coming career and would go after all the balls in right field. Well, the field came straight out, and he was slamming his legs into that and falling into the bleachers. So they had to round out K-line corner to protect Al K-line from himself at the old Tiger Stadium.
Cool story, bro. Cool story. No, it's good. No,
I figured our next guest on here probably was at the games when that was happening.
Oh, wow.
Blow. Yeah, we were commenting that our next guest, who will be joining us shortly, is the oldest, and usually Brad's the oldest in this group, and
I love
Dave
Dave Kenny.
will be the oldest in our group. Not by much. But all right, let's move on. Starting pitcher. I am interested to see where you guys go with this one. I think this one has more play in it. And let me get the thing. All right, let's go with Shawn. What do you got, Shawn?
I had to go with Verlander.
All right. Yep.
Obviously, they've got a great history with Tiger pitchers, but what he did against this generation's pitchers or against this generation's hitters how many no-hitters and one-hitters did that man have? Insane.
He had a lot of one-hitters. He was like Nolan Ryan-esque.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't type Verlander. Brad, same?
Same.
All right. Verlander.
I wish
Did you guys consider anybody else?
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
So let's mention some of them now.
Get to my list. Let's see. Well,
And Lolich was up there.
the one that I've never heard of, to be honest with you, that doing the stats was Hooks Das.
Hooks Das.
I was like, looking up the old timers, and I'm like, man, I bet just stat wise, reading his stats off the board, it was like, wow.
Yeah, I ran across him. If you talk to older Tiger fans, they're going to say Hal Newhauser rather. Mickey Lolich will be in there. People who say Denny McClain are idiots. 31 wins. Yes, he had 31 wins, but still.
Yeah.
How about Schoolboy Roy?
Yeah. Mickey had a much better career. But yeah, Hal Newhauser would be another name that would be in there. But yeah, I had to go with Verlander as well. So that was easy. All right. Right field. We did right field. We're going through, relief pitcher. Hold on. Let me get my thing up because I know where you guys are going. All right. Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. I think I spelled this right. All right. Brad, who you got?
I went with Haas because I don't, Das. I went with Hooks. Hooks Das just because, back then they pitched the whole game for,
How do you spell his last name?
Dauss.
I knew it was different. Dauss. Yeah.
I just put Hooks in there.
Wow. There's the shocker of the night. That came out of left field. I didn't. Yeah. All right. Cool. Shawn.
Willie Hernandez.
You say that like it's a foregone conclusion. It's not.
For me, it was.
Yeah. And that's who everybody remembers. He was MVP and Cy Young Award winner. However, he's not the best relief pitcher in Tiger history. There is one answer for this that is correct. You guys are both wrong. In fact, let's give you that. All right. The answer, if I can find it on my list here, is John Hiller. John Hiller was the best relief pitcher of all time for the Tigers. An interesting story with him. He was a starting pitcher that was mediocre, under 500, and had a heart attack. I think he's still the only one that had a heart attack in season and came back. So he had a heart attack in the off season rather, and then he also had a intestine bypass too that off season. The next spring training, he reported, and he was an instructor, a minor league instructor. And during that time in spring training, and he's now an instructor for the Tigers, he developed a changeup. And then he went on and had a long relief career for the Tigers. He was like 13 years, and he's the man. You're both wrong on that one, so you know.
Yeah, only won 87 games. Come on.
Yeah. 87
545
I just needed one save.
You need one save. Yeah, you need one save. Yeah, all right. Fair enough. I
went with the 84 Willie Hernandez, and I'll call it good.
All right.
You didn't go with smoke, man. Come on.
Fair enough. All right.
Well, I couldn't go with roller coaster because there's not enough beer possible.
All right, so you know who I went with my DH. I went with Cabrera. I'm assuming Shawn. You went with Cabrera third. So,
yeah.
What do you got for DH, Brad?
Oh, go with Shawn first on this one.
All right, Shawn. What do you got? I don't like your attitude, Brad.
I
like where you're going here.
I don't know that anyone's really going to agree with this pick, but again, I'm trying to win one game. At DH, I put Cecil Fielder.
Yes, so did I.
Are you kidding me?
Nope. I wanted his bat in the lineup.
Okay. Okay. I
had a feeling you would pick that, Shawn.
Again, it's because you guys watched them all. I don't know.
Maybe you didn't watch them.
I did watch them. I watched them. I just think you're wrong. All right, that's a good lineup. There's a little more play than that than I thought.